Is that the sturgeon?
No.
Oh.
It's one
Giant
on the other
one.
side you can't see. We're hoping maybe to come back around.
That's just a salmon?
That's a big old rainbow trout.
Wow.
It's like that's a rainbow. That's just a really
Really
big one.
old one?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there was one on the other side.
I saw like what looked like a shark.
Yeah.
That's it?
Big tail. Yeah.
Wow. That's a salmon.
Little trout.
That's a rainbow trout.
When
This
they get,
one is
when
too?
they get really big and
Oh.
mature.
That's what they do here is the sturgeon and the trout.
Okay.
There, you see him coming right there?
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
It's really, really old.
Pretty small.
Oh my god. And he knows we're here. Yeah, I just thought he was a shark.
Yeah.
We're so lucky he came. He just moved slow. Hey guys, this is the mighty Columbia River behind me. I'm in the Columbia River Gorge on the Oregon side of things. It's like the eastern Oregon side, so you can see in the background there it's like dry and arid, and there's a lot of fruit growing and different kinds of agriculture. It's a lot less moist than Western Oregon, Western Washington, and Pacific Northwest. It's probably like 80 something right now, and it's only 11 a.m. It's supposed to get up to 90 something today. Luckily I'm headed towards a lake, so I get to go swimming, which will be nice and cool. But I was driving by and I realized I don't know if I ever have, or I don't know when the last time I was able to actually like touch the waters of the Columbia. And I have this thing where I really like to touch the water, because as you know, if you watch Rogueways enough, water has memory. Water is transformative. Water is obviously cleansing. It has all of these properties that are really beautiful, and when you look closely enough at water, if you want to go watch the Water is Weird episode, you'll see all the ways that water really is a very strange molecule, and it's ubiquitous on Earth, it's ubiquitous in our bodies. And obviously it's very foundational to life. So I do like a little mini ceremony. I have a larger water ceremony that I do, which I won't share here, but I have a sort of mini ceremony that I do, and it goes a little something like this. So depending on which way the water is flowing, it's flowing from the east and it's going out to the ocean in the west. And so I look to the west and I do a little blessing to myself first by touching the water, and do a little forehead, a little heart chakra, and a little left to right action, which is like this plane of existence, right? It's like Father Sky, Mother Earth, and the Holy Spirit, which animates us, or however you want to think of it. It's really not a religious thing. It's more of a intrinsic function of nature that you're honoring and respecting. And so I do a little blessing to myself. I face the direction where the water is headed, and I offer it everything that I may have collected on the way, on my journey, that isn't mine, or that doesn't belong with me, or that I no longer need. So you're sort of shedding and letting it carry it away, letting it wash you clean of all of those things that you don't need anymore, or that aren't good for you, or that you need to let go of. So you offer that. You're grateful. You give thanks that those things can leave you and that you can move on from them. And then you face the direction where it's coming from, and you take in everything that is meant for you, and all of the blessings that do exist, and all that can enhance you and make your life better. And you give even more thanks that there's so much goodness coming to you in your life. So that is my mini water ceremony. It's really not a ceremony, it's more of just like a blessing and a gratitude, sort of a way to touch base with yourself and get grounded. It's even better if you literally are not wearing shoes and grounding at the same time, which I'm not right now, but I do often put my feet in the water while I'm doing it, and I just think that is an even better way to do it. So yeah, I came down here to the water to do this little ceremony while I could actually touch the river here at a low point, and I'm gonna hang out in this beautiful scenery for a moment before heading on. Found Tartaria in Pendleton, Oregon. Just a humble little church. Probably ridiculously old. All that stonework. And check out this window. Ooh. The steeple up there. They say it's a United Methodist Church. It's cool. Look at these windows. They're so cool. The windows are protected by other windows. But there's that almost flower of life structure there. And I'm not sure what's in the middle. That circle. It looks like it's just a cross with kind of lightning coming down onto it. It's kind of weird. Anyway, it's kind of cool to find. It says that it's founded in 1871. It's not that long ago. But yeah, Pendleton has some good history. First Methodist Episcopal Church. Tartaria lives! Alright, it's not Tartaria, but it is interesting maybe that this old building, which still has its name on it, is the L building. L being one of the gods or demigods, depending on how you look at things, of the world. Anyway, Pendleton's got some interesting history. Interesting history indeed. This is the old Pendleton City Hall, built in 1908 at 34 Dorian Avenue. Pretty grand. We don't do it like this anymore. Anyway, this is Pendleton. This is the main street. You have all these historic buildings. There's Falkor. Historic buildings and cute cafes and cute shops. It's a neat place to stop. Most people come here, I think, for the Oregon Trail history aspect, but I just wanted to find the Tartars. Hey, hanging out. Just went swimming at Owyhee Lake. I'm at Owyhee Lake State Park in Oregon. It's like pretty close to the border of Idaho. As you saw from the footage, it was a beautiful drive up here through the arid kind of sage lands and agricultural areas. Beautiful river, Owyhee River, which is the river that they dammed to make this lake. And it's like, I think I got here at 6 p.m. and it was still 88 degrees. So it's very hot, for me at least. So the lake felt really nice to go dip into. And now I'm just chilling in my hammock on this cliff overlooking the lake. And it's pretty windy, but it's really, really nice. And I just was reflecting. There's some things that have been playing out in my mind for a few days. And I had this realization, or like I think I've realized this before, but I just had this realization that part of the reason I get kind of flack or like strange responses to this trip I'm taking or to me leaving teaching is this thing where people kind of need to dismiss and cast out the possibility that they're not living their best way they could. And it's not to say that everyone should do this or that, you know, there is a best way, one way, you know, there's a million best ways. But I think like changing your life suddenly, or what seems sudden to other people, it's really very gradual for me, but I know it seems sudden to other people, and changing your life suddenly like that kind of prompts people to wonder if they could change their life, and they don't want to wonder that. Some people respond poorly because they don't want to wonder if they should change their life or if they could change their life, and if maybe that would make them happier, or if there is something that's been, you know, stagnant and that they could kind of address. And it's easier for me when I realize things like that, because it's easier to not take it so personally. And it relates back to when I was teaching, and a lot of teachers spend so much of their life at school, just, you know, 70, 80 hours a week. Like if you go to all of the games and all of the activities that you could go to, and you do all of the work you really are supposed to, putting that in quotes because it's really inappropriate, but the work that they think that you're supposed to do, like knowing every single student's skill in every single area and how you're going to help that student in every single one of those skills all throughout the year, every day, you know, and make your own curriculum and grade and blah, blah, blah. I could go on. But, you know, they spend all of that time there. And when I was the type of person who left every day when the school day was over, when my work day was officially over, and I showed up when my work day officially started, and I was there extra hours sometimes, but for the most part I kind of like came and went as the work day started and ended. And that was another thing that I think made people have the same response, where they resented it, and they had to make it in their own minds seem like I wasn't committed to my job, or like I didn't care about students, or like I didn't care about the job, or like I didn't do it well enough because I didn't stay as long as them. And in reality, I've finally understood it has nothing to do with if they actually thought those things were true. It's just that they have to, in their mind, make those things true in order to not question whether or not they really truly need to spend all that time there. And why do they spend all that time there? It is not because they're actually committed and passionate about their career. It's not because they care more about kids than I do, or it's not, definitely not that they do a better job than I do. What it really is that they're avoiding their life. They're avoiding going home. I've heard people even say it now that I'm like remembering that this is a truth in the world. You know, they'll like say like, oh, I don't want to go home, so I might as well be here. And it's like, well, fuck, what kind of a life did you make that you don't want to go home? Home should be the best place, you know? It should be the best place. It should be the place where you've created all the things that you love in one spot. Sometimes there's hard parts of that, and I know that it's not all just gravy, obviously, but for the most part, if your home is someplace you dread in general, you should change shit up. Like, leave the person you're with, start a new life somewhere, start a new career, whatever it is you have to do, because that's not worth it. Like, you're just going to hate your life until you die. You're going to die someday, and you're going to wish that you didn't hate your life on the way. And yeah, I just feel bad for them now. It hurt my feelings for many years that people looked at me that way. It hurt my feelings that I went on this trip and people looked at it like it was something crazy or irresponsible or whatever they thought. But it helps me to kind of remember the real reasons, the real motivations. I always know somewhere in my heart, in my head, that things aren't personal. You know, I always know that. Like the 4 agreements, don't take things personally. But it's also important to really like break it down, because I will take it personally until I understand the real reasons why they're doing something that don't have anything to do with me. So I just wanted to share that reflection in case it helps you understand why some people are treating you like shit, or dismissing your life and your choices as unimportant, or, you know, not good enough, or whatever people do, whatever petty games they play in their mind to make themselves feel better about their own choices in life, or rather their mistakes and lack of life. And I'm happy to be at Lake Oahe, even happier to be on my way home to Colorado, my new home, where all of the best things in my life exist in one place at one time. I'm very lucky to have that, and I can't wait. I'll see you guys soon. I'm on a scenic byway, the Thousand Springs Scenic Byway in Idaho, and I guess there's fossil beds across the way here. I just was kind of surprised that there were zebras in Idaho. Way back when, that's kind of a trip. I guess it was wetter and warmer, and there was lava flows over there, and so I guess it was just a totally different climate, but it seems weird. But there's the landscape, which is gorgeous, whether there's fossils or not, and whether there were fucking zebras and beavers or whatever or not. And there's some kind of an animal lowing down there. Anyway, this is the valley I'm about to drive through. Pretty gorgeous. Check it out and hope some other cool things pop up along the way. Doterra essential oils, handmade soap, this local honey that's raw and unfiltered that I just bought. Little shop, gifts, very, very cute. And then all of a sudden, a little bit of fishing gear, and then ammo and guns. And I love it. This is Idaho. It's pretty cool. I meant to go to the museum across the street, but they were closed because it's Sunday morning and nothing's open except coffee shops. I'm still having a good time. Here at the Oregon Trail Overlook. I guess it's literally that line that you see in the middle of this hill. Which is weird to me that it still exists. It has to be maintained, but it does say that it's not open to the public. But it's a pretty cool view anyway. There's a Snake River way down there. That valley I was just driving through. And we'll go back to now. I just wanted to come up and check out what's up here. And it's windmills and the Oregon Trail. Kind of cool. Like the chemtrails are really bad today in general, but then there's this black chemtrail which just goes like straight down to the horizon. Sorry about the bugs in my windshield that obscure the view. And then meets up with this white chemtrail. And I've seen black chemtrails, but I've never seen quite that way. But yeah, the whole sky is fucked today. It's like everywhere I look. It's gross. That's a Snake River. There's, I guess, one of the waterfalls Twin Falls is known for. It's pretty far down there. You can see the kayakers. And this pretty amazing bridge spanning the chasm. Pretty cool. Very tall. Reminds me of Deception Pass, but it's not as long. And the valley goes for a while. Pretty beautiful. A nice oasis in the desert that I found near Ogden. I'm about to camp at Antelope Island State Park. And this is Fort Buenaventura. And it is pretty lovely. Most of Utah is pretty arid, dry. I don't know, there's lots of lakes and rivers, I guess, but it's pretty nice. We'll check out the fort and see what it's like. Well, that's the fort. It is not open. And there's, most of this is recreations, possibly racist recreations. Like We totally honor the native people. Look at these teepees we put up in our fake fort. Whatever. It's a cute place. It's a really lovely park. And the Blair Witch has been here, as you can see by this tree. And that's about it. Happy, happy times at Fort Buenaventura. Here's some bison of Antelope Island. They're just chilling. That one just yawned. He's bored with it all. They have such a vast territory. Like, I've seen them all the way up in the Yukon. And now here they are in Utah, all over this entire region of the United States. Pretty cool. I am still at Antelope Island State Park, but now I'm at Fielding Gar Ranch, which is on Antelope Island, and it is the longest running ranch in Utah's history. It represents 133 years of Western ranching, and it's from the pioneer days, and it's still going today. So I'm gonna check it out. So it's maybe 88 degrees now that it's nearly 7 p.m. at Antelope State Park, and I still hiked up this mini mountain here because no one else was doing it. And it's really rare, I've realized in my travels around the continent thus far, to find any spaces where humans aren't, and where there aren't basically the noises of human life. And sometimes that's really comforting. Like driving through the Yukon, it's nice when you don't see human settlement for hours and hours and hours on end. It's nice to know that there are people around, so it's kind of comforting. And then there's other times where you're out in this beautiful nature and all you hear are little shit dogs yapping, and like children screaming, and adults like bellowing to each other about the food they're going to eat or whatever. And I'm being really arrogant and snobby right now, but it does get really annoying when you're trying to be out in nature and enjoy it. So when I saw there's this hike and it's this hot and most people are kind of wrapping things up for the day anyway, I decided to go for it and see what was up here. And these views are stunning, as you saw, but more importantly, I could almost believe when I'm looking in the direction behind me here, where it's nothing but like placid lake with clouds reflected in it. And you can't see any people doing anything, or any cities or towns or anything like that. I could believe that I'm the only person here, and that is nice. So I'm gonna take a seat, put my feet on the earth, and do a little meditation. I wish you all spaces where you can feel truly alone in a good way, some solitude. Peace. Just saw some more lightning over there in the sunset on the Great Salt Lake, in which I'm about to go swim. Maybe we'll see a little bit right here. While we're waiting, I'll tell you what I learned today. I was wondering how the Great Salt Lake got so salty. I was like, did the ocean like recede from there? That's a pretty far inland, it's pretty high up, doesn't seem likely. Couldn't figure it out. Turns out all these lakes and rivers like empty into the Great Salt Lake, and it's a terminal lake, and so as it evaporates over time, which is the only way the water can get out of it, it leaves behind its minerals and salts, so it gets salty. And now it's evaporating faster than the water that fills it can keep up with it, because humans are using so much of the water now up along the rivers that feed into it. So it's kind of starving. It's in drought. And another cool thing, this sand, maybe not this sand, but the sand that I had to walk here in, is super silty, like very fine grained sand. And I guess that's because the brine shrimp that live in the water poop out some kind of a shell that's very round and smooth. So, all right, done waiting for lightning. I'm gonna go swimming. Catch you guys later. You guys, I just realized I came to Salt Lake at the beginning of my journey-ish, and I told you guys about the crossroads on which I refused the offering or whatever, and went a different route and went my own way, refused the devil, however you want to look at that. And I just realized that I'm back at Salt Lake, basically at the end of my journey, and I did it. Did the whole trip. I made it all this way, and I guess it's sunset, and that's a fitting time to end the videos for now. I will do more road tripping in October, and if anything cool seems to happen on the way from here to home, which is all me recovering tracks that I've already covered in these videos, I'll let you know. But otherwise, I want to thank you all for coming on this journey with me, and I really am grateful that I've been able to do all this. Also, the Salt Lake does not stink over here for some reason like it did over there. For some reason this place is better. And it's really nice to swim in, especially at 8 at night when the sun is setting. So, highly recommend it. And until you get here, aim for balance, travel well, and always look inside first. My whole body is covered in salt now. That's crazy. That's how salty it is. Time to take a shower.